copy, paste, and build up a repeat image on Adobe Photoshop. So I'm just going to go into Create New, and I'm going to select an A3 document. First of all, just make sure you've got your resolution at 300 pixels per inch, and you're on RGB color, and your background is white. You can change all of these options as you go. So we're going to go on to Create. Now, what I want to do first of all is find some high quality images that I'm going to be using. For this tutorial, I'm going to be looking at bacteria because it's quite an interesting form to actually use, something that repeats and develops in nature, and we can actually create artwork based around that. So I'm just going to go onto my internet, and I'm just going to go and find an image. Now, unfortunately, my internet is defaulted to actually be using this Safe Finder thing, but I prefer Google to look for an image. But anyway, so I've just put images of viruses and I've selected large. So on Google, you'll have an option at the side there to change it to a large image. And I'm just going to select an image that I'm going to be using to repeat. So let me just see. So I'm going to start with a kind of nice and easy one here. So just wait for that to load up, and then I'm going to control click, copy image, go into Photoshop, and I'm going to press edit and paste, or you could press Control V. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cut it out. So I'm just going to zoom in, see what I'm doing easily. Now I'm going to use here the magnetic lasso tool, and you'll see that if you click and then if you trace the outline of your object, lots of little boxes will appear as you go, and that is just it tracking the actual shape of the object. So I'm just going to go around, make sure I get everything in here. Now it's not perfect, sometimes it's going to kind of go a little bit off. If you do make a mistake, just press Escape or Control D, and it will allow you to go back to starting to draw around it again. Now you have to make a complete circuit around your object. So here we go, I've got one here. Press click, and you'll see what happens is something called the marching ants. So you can see around here that there are all of these little dots marching around the object. So I've selected this object now, so I'm going to now copy it. So I'm just going to press Control C and Control V, and I've actually copied that object there. So I've copied that one. Now the problem is we've got this one behind it with the background that's not actually cut out. So we need to now go onto our layer panel. So if you press, if you go onto Window and Layers or F7, it will show you the layer panel. Now you can see here, layer 1 is the one that actually has got the background on it. So if I just get rid of layer 2, you can see layer 1 there, and layer 1 is the one here. So I want to actually get rid of that layer, so I'm just going to put it into the bin like that, and now you can see I've just got isolated the bacteria image. So now I'm going to press Control minus, or if you're using a PC, it'll be, I think it's actually change the size of it. If I press Control T, I can increase or decrease the size of it, and as soon as I've got it to the size I want, I press enter, and that's it, kind of where I want it to be. Now what I want to do now is repeat this image over and over, almost like a virus growing and expanding in the human body. So I'm just going to select it using the square select. Again, you can see the marching ants going around here again. Make this a lot bigger and make it a lot more complex. So what I can do is I can stick these three together. If I just press Shift and select them all and then Control E, that actually sticks the layers together. So Control E sticks the layers together, and then I can actually select again, Control one at a time, copying three at a time. can also decrease these three here as well. Now maybe I want to actually, I'm just going to press enter to tell it that's what I want it to do. Again, I'm going to stick these two together. I'm going to press shift, select them, and then press Control E. Just be careful when you select them, you're not actually selecting the background as well. And then I'm going to bring in, I'm going to press maybe I'm going to do that again, shift, and I'm going to go quite fast now just so you can see what I'm building up here. B, G, okay, move it down, turn it around, okay, then I'm going to, again, Control E, and then I'm going to Control C, Control V, Control T, move it round, change it, press enter when I've got it's the one I want, okay, then I'm going to, again, shift, select them together, Control E, do the square again, around, square select, Control C, Control V, Control T. So I'm just using those few commands there, Control C, Control V, Control T. Okay, so now I've got my bacteria. We're just going to add in a different one onto this artwork. So we're going to create something a bit more complicated. So I'm just going to get one that's a little bit difficult to actually cut out to show you that. So now is I've brought in another bacteria, a slightly more complicated one, just to see how you can actually have a different approach to cutting out the actual image. So before I was using the magnetic lasso tool, now I'm actually going to use the magic eraser tool. Now sometimes this one does things that you don't really want it to do because it can be a little bit unpredictable, but it can save you a lot of time. So I'm just going to click on all the bits that I want to erase. So I'm just going around and just clicking, and it's where the white bit of the eraser, that's where you can actually select. Now you can see it's kind of going a little bit, you know, it's deleting some bits that I don't want it to delete, it's leaving some bits out, so it can be a little bit fiddly, but you know, if you've got an image that's got a lot of contrast in it, it can be much quicker to do it this way. So I'm just going around, I'm just deleting all of the bits that I want to get rid of, and then I can tidy it up a little bit at the end, but you'll see here that, you know, I've got most of the edge of the object here, and I'm just now going to go onto the normal regular eraser and just delete what I wanted to get rid of, okay? And then same process again, so we're going to now introduce this one into our artwork. So I'm just going to select around it, Control C, Control V, move it around, okay, put those two together, Control E, hopefully you're getting it by now. And then I'm going to select Control C, Control V, and then I'm going to move this one. Maybe I'm going to do a bit of Control T just to change it around slightly. Okay, and then I'm going to, again, Shift, put it back together, Control E, and then I'm going to select Control V, Control C, Control V, and then move that one up to there, Control T, move it round. Okay, and then I'm gonna like that. Zoom out, see how that's looking. Okay, I want to make it a bit more complicated, so now I'm gonna really go quick. So I'm just gonna go. Okay, onto that. Okay. Make that one build out quite a lot. Okay, to be quite complicated artwork here. Now there's something that we could do to really enhance this even more. So I'm just going to finish this last one. Control C, Control V, move that down. Okay, turn it around. Okay. Now, what I can actually do is I can mirror this whole artwork and you'll see it creates something really quite interesting. So I'm just going to select the whole thing now. So I'm going to go Shift, I'm going to go right the way down to the background and I'm going to press Control E. That stuck the whole thing together. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to zoom out and I'm going to draw around my whole thing with the crop tool. So I've got that all selected. And I'm just going to move this out to double the size of it. So I've got here my image that I've copied over. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to select it like so. Okay, and I've selected a tiny bit that's kind of off the edge, and you'll see why in a minute. Now I'm going to press Control C, Control V. Now I'm going to go on to Edit, Transform, and I'm going to say Flip Horizontal. Now, when I move this along, I then can join those up, and I've got this kind of doubled up artwork. So then I'll do that again. I'm going to go Control E, then I'm going to move my canvas up. Okay, press Enter, and then I'm now going to do the same thing. I'm going to do the square select. I'm going to leave a little bit that's coming off the edge of my selection. Control C, Control V, and then I'm going to say Edit, and I'm going to go on to Transform. This time I'm going to flip vertical, so I'm going upwards. Okay, and I'm going to move that, and I'm creating this kind of weird bacteria artwork. Okay, see it all joins together in an interesting way. We can move that just to get that to be a bit more exact, and you'll see that things start to emerge like quite interesting shapes and patterns. So good luck. The last thing I want you to do is just make sure you file, save as, and save it as a JPEG. So I'm just going to save it as a JPEG, and it's going to be called Bacteria Layering and Copying. Okay, and save.